Welcome back to the akeytsu skinning workflow tutorial series. In this video we'll talk about vertex selection, which is an essential part of the workflow. When talking about skinning, mastering selections will make a great difference in terms of your proficiency and ease of use in the skinning tool. It's important to know all the options you have at hand before taking a deep dive into the different ways you can edit the weights. Let's get started. In this topic, we will demonstrate picking. Picking is an important part of the workflow in akeytsu, and one that is very simplistic to master. Make sure you're in the rigging window and have selected the paint and check mode in the character bank. For more precision, we recommend using the display wireframes over textures by using the number pad 3 to trigger, or by coming over to the left menu and clicking on the shading menu with the button located all the way to the right. Akeytsu lets you free paint when no vertex selection is active. Here you'll simply want to select the joint whose influence you want to work on. Click on the paint mode and choose the desired function, in this case smoothing. Here I am free painting over the mesh with only one influence selected. Normalization is happening across all associated meshes and influences that akeytsu deems necessary. Overall, the idea is that you should be able to select joints and vertices in combination with the brush. So let's get started with the basic controls. For everything vertex related, you'll want to hold down the Shift key and left mouse button to select a vertex, like so. If you find that you're selecting things behind the model or can't quite get the vertex you want, make sure to double check that you have backface culling set to on. Therefore, you'll only be forced to select things on the front. In this case, vertices on the front here. Alternatively, you can lasso select by holding down Shift middle button. You can drag select, marquee select, or you can even paint the selection that you want by going into the vertex selection mode of the painter tool. Here, if I drag my cursor, click and drag with the left mouse button, I can select groups of vertices. This is very useful in conjunction with the backface culling turned off, allowing me to select in front and behind the mesh. Please note that when performing vertex selections, we will automatically lock influences, shown over here in the picker list. Influences can be locked by using the Control left mouse button on their joint names, like here. The more joints we pick, the more get unlocked. What this means is that whatever painting occurs on these selected vertices, using the Skin Atelier paint button, will only be distributed between these joints we have selected. In other programs, you need to navigate complex hierarchies and tools windows to assure that you are not painting vertices and weights on joints that you don't intend to. In akeytsu, all you have to do is simply highlight a weight, highlight a vertex, and highlight a influence, and you're good to go. In this case, if I want to deselect all of my vertices, I just Shift click in an open space, and now I'm set to free paint again. I can lock multiple influences by holding down Control and clicking in the viewer, clicking the two joints I want to lock in the picker. From here, I can simply set my smoothing function to a high level. I can paint behind, and I can be assured that any painting I'm doing will only be distributed between these two influences and not accidentally placed on another. If you'd like to switch over to a different joint to visualize another influence while this brush is active, you can simply right click on the joint, or middle click on the joint rather, to select that influence. This provides you a very simplistic way to actively select an influence in the UI while keeping your brush tool active and painting. You'll want to browse through the different influences by either selecting the joints directly or middle clicking if you are in the paint mode, as shown below. In a nutshell, when you have weights selected like this, this ensures that no other vertices will be touched when you do a free paint, as shown right here. You'll notice that I can only paint the vertices. More details on weight distribution and how to lock influences in the video of this tutorial series will be focused on later. Here's some useful tips to help speed up your workflow when using vertex selection. If I have one vertice selected, I can use the plus on the number pad keyboard to expand my selection to neighboring vertices. Alternatively, I can use the minus key to reduce that selection all the way down to 0. If I have one vertice selected and I want to select all connected faces, I can simply press the star key on the number keyboard, which will, as you can see, only select the neighboring vertices that are welded and connected. If I wish to invert my selection, I can do that too, simply by pressing the / on the keyboard. As stated before, you can also use these tricks to hide and unhide parts. For instance, if I only wanted to hide this part of the arm that's connected, I'm going to highlight the vertices, pressing star to select all connected vertices, and using my hide button to only hide that geo. I can keep doing this until I drill down to a view that makes it very easy to isolate the parts that I need to work on. I can also alternatively unhide all those parts, invert my selection, and hide those parts and work on the opposite as well. If you want to select vertices from a given influence, you can do so through the Skin Atelier window. I will select an influence here. From here you can right-click on the actual influence. You can choose to select the vertices associated with that influence. This will give you a detailed list of all of the influences currently active. And that's it for this video. By now you should be much more comfortable with what selection options you have at your disposal. In further videos, we'll show you the different workflows to fine-tune the skinning of your character, starting from the easiest way, taking advantage of dual skinning, all the way down to the most advanced ways where you'll paint with more accuracy or enter numeric values and in a vertex fashion shape your weights to what you need.